March 4th. Already. Planning board meeting is now open. We are being recorded, televised, zoomed, and all of that is on our website notification. Anybody wishing to join in is more than free to. We have Matthew Andre, Russ Fisco, myself. I'm not sure, is Chris online? I don't see you here from Chris, so Chris is not with us tonight.
There he is.
Oh! Where is he? Oh, there, is that Chris? A lot of times he has a hard time with his mic. Chris, there you go.
Oh, no, that's not.
Wrong Chris.
No, that's not the Chris you're looking for.
Huh?
Not the Chris you're looking for.
Wrong
Sorry.
Chris.
All right, no problem. All right, no Chris. Okay, first thing on the agenda, we have a Form A for Tomlin Estates. And Tomlin Estates, who's here? Is anybody here for Tomlin Estates?
Yes,
Miss-
yes.
Miss-
Frank Gallagher.
Frank Gallagher. And you are with? State your name, please.
Gallagher Engineering. Yep, Frank Gallagher from Gallagher Engineering in Foxborough.
Okay. We have lien certificate. Updated taxes. Recording. Okay, so, Warren, you have a check somewhere with that? I do. Matthew?
Oh, I have that right here.
You have that on your
Yeah,
thing?
I have it too.
You have it too? Seems like it's a pretty straightforward. This is at Tomlin Drive off of White Street. It looks like you are. Why don't you tell me what you're doing? You're taking this little parcel A?
Yes, lot 2 is the lot that's really at the end of Tomlin. And it's you know, very large lot. It's over 4 acres, almost 4 3/4 acres. And we're dividing that into a new parcel we're calling parcel A, and that's a triangle that you'll see kind of on the east side of the lot, and it's a 5,000 square foot triangle of land that we're cutting out of what was lot 2 in the subdivision. So that reduced lot 2 is now being called 2A. It's still a 4.5 acre lot. The frontage isn't changed on the lot. We're really just creating this triangle of land so that it can be deeded over to the neighbor who's Yatanis, the house number 7 labeled on the plan.
Yeah.
So the owner of lot 2 will deed parcel A to the Utanises once the Form A is signed and recorded.
Okay. Everybody see what he's doing? Questions, Bob?
So it's my understanding that the owner or the receiving owner is needing some more room for a pool in the backyard. So that's what this is all about.
Very good. Anything else, Mr. Gallagher? I lost all my faces. Hello.
Okay, no,
Nope, you're up there.
that's it, unless there are questions.
No, we have everything. We've got the paperwork. It's pretty simple, straightforward. Do I hear a motion there? Russ, would you like to add anything?
I've got nothing to add. Do you want me to?
You make a motion to
Make a motion to
accept the Form A plan.
accept the Form A plan of land, in the town of Raynham, Mass, situated off Tomlin Drive, prepared for Sean and Christine Carnes by Gallagher Engineering. Date, February 3rd, 2021. Need any more?
All right, no, we are, if you want to second it for discussion?
Seconded.
Now, Frank, I have a question for you.
Yes,
On the bottom of the Mylar, it says Lot 2, Tomlin A&R drawing.
yes.
You don't refer to Lot 2 anywhere on this plan. It says Lot 2A. Do you have a note? Because I didn't see anything on the front. I'm not, is that gonna make, you know, when you record it, is that gonna be confusing?
Well, so what you're looking at, I think, is just what, in the very lower right-hand corner where it says Lot 2, Tomlin A&R.
Yes.
That's the file name for my AutoCAD drawing.
Okay, but it's on the Mylar, so it's gonna get recorded.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know that that'll cause any problems. I don't expect that it would.
Okay.
It's,
Well, if it does, it'll wind up coming back, but I think we might have wanted to just have a formerly known as Lot 2 on Tomlin Estates.
okay.
But I don't have our legal counsel, Mr. Fountain, here with us tonight, so we're gonna, motion was made and seconded. We're gonna let it go. If there's any problems, they'll have to come back.
Okay.
All right? So, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Approve the Form A. I'm gonna send this down to you, Russ. Sign that.
Dan, Chris would like to be recognized, thinks he's on this.
All right.
Chris is on the phone, *6 will unmute him. So just Chris at *6, you should unmute himself.
Maureen, here's the paperwork for that.
Am I there now, Mike?
I can hear you. Okay, we have Chris Gallagher is with us.
I've been with you since the, but I couldn't vote on that plan anyway, my brother.
Okay. Can our cameraman shut his door? I hear myself echoing in the background there. Okay, we have a Form J, Raynham Preserve. And we see Lee. Like to introduce yourself?
Yes, Lee Castagnetti, counsel for the applicant, petitioner, owner, Raynham Preserve East, LLC.
Okay. Did we already do yeah, we did an estimate, a niche review estimate?
Yeah, it's already been submitted.
We actually did the estimate. We paid the money, and we somehow the covenant during the approval process, the covenant fell between the cracks, the performance covenant. So we had gone to a meeting, and I believe that you had voted to release the lots at the meeting. Apparently, the record doesn't. We either can't find that record, or the record doesn't reflect that. But in any event, I talked to Bob and Maureen, and they indicated they just wanted the paperwork and be able to have a trail, back to the formal release of the lots. But the money's already been paid. The money was paid to the town several weeks ago.
Yeah, I see the check, $375,835 made out on 12/24.
Yes.
Okay. Bob, anything?
Just cleaning up some paperwork that we missed before.
Maureen, you all set with that? Okay then, make a motion to release lots 1 through 26 located off of Bayberry Road or Mulberry Road. Total number of lots released is total 26, and I believe that's the total number of lots for the project. So all the lots are being released.
Seconded.
Seconded for discussion. Lee, is that correct? All the lots are being released? There's 26 lots over there, right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Motion was made, seconded. All in favor to sign this Form J covenant to release all lots? Aye.
Aye.
Chris?
I'm gonna abstain.
Oh, you're
My
gonna,
sister is no longer,
yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna abstain.
Oh, Burke, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, all right.
Can't see.
I've been here the whole time.
Okay.
And how you feel?
Then that's good. Did you vote on that, Burke?
I could vote on it, and I would vote to release funds.
Okay, so it is 4 of us are voting. Chris is abstaining. All in favor?
Aye.
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 I'm still getting used to this Zoom stuff. It's kind of nice not having a room full of people. I get to see them all on the screen, but Matthew's going to sign that. We're going to pass that down. Put that with this copy of the check. There you go. Okay, Lee, anything else this evening?
Thank you.
All
That's it for tonight.
all right, how are things going out there? I keep driving through, looks like it's coming along.
It's going very well. Yeah, the market's somewhat insane, I would have to say, as it has been for the last couple of years, and sales are quite brisk.
Good. Well,
So it's going well.
that's good. In the past, we've had subdivisions that lingered for 5, 6 years, 7 years, and that's more of a struggle for us to try to get those completed.
Yeah, it ends up being a struggle, obviously, for the developer, but the pain certainly trickles down to you in those instances as well. And I'm pretty confident we're not going to run into that in this instance.
Good. I did see last week a couple of emails going back and forth about some drainage issues on somebody's side yard or something, and I'm sure you're going to take care of that issue.
Yeah, it's in the rear yard. We already installed a swale. It functions properly. The soils out there aren't particularly well draining soils.
Yeah.
So, this time of year with the cold, the frost in the ground, poor soils, when it rains, it's in our warranty. It's in our homeowner's manual. We forewarn people that under conditions like this, you're going to have standing water for up to 48 hours.
Right.
And we went out there the following day, the last time she sent the video. The next day it was dry. So, if you go out to a yard like that, the day of or the minute after it rains, you're going to have standing water. Most of the yards out there will.
Right. All right. So you've addressed it and you're taking care of it because as we mentioned.
We're dealing with it.
All right. That's
absolutely.
That's a owner-developer responsibility, not ours.
Fully, and we fully acknowledge that, and we'll deal with it accordingly.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, you have a good night.
Good to see you all. Stay well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have a public hearing, Wildwood Path subdivision requests for continuance. Do we have any notice? Yes, I do. We have a time to act, April 30th. On behalf of the applicant, we respectfully request that the public hearing for Wildwood Path subdivision, scheduled for 3/4/21, be continued to the first available meeting of the planning board in April, to allow additional time for our office to address comments recently provided by peer review consultant in the Raynham Department of Public Works. So, our first meeting in April is April 1st. April Fools. We don't have anything on at this time, so you want to put him down for, why don't we put him down for 6:05? Just give us 5 minutes in case we have some Form As that roll in. So we're going to continue Wildwood Path for 6:05 on April 1. All in favor?
Aye.
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 That was unanimous?
Aye.
All right, gotcha. You got that, Maureen?
I do.
And let's see. Okay, so that's the next. Okay, 6:20, public hearing, 435, New State Highway, site plan, special permit. Special permit is for a drive-up window.
I've got notice.
Yep, and Russ will read a public hearing notice.
The Raynham Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Thursday, March 4th, 2021, 6:20 p.m. at Raynham Veterans Memorial Town Hall, 558 South Main Street, on application for site plan approval with special permit in accordance with Raynham zoning bylaws, section 7.4, submitted by Justin Ferris and Michael Gerios, Norwood, Mass, for a plan prepared for Stoneham AMA Realty Ventures LLC to redevelop and repurpose the former Friendly's Restaurant building at 435 New State Highway, Route 44, Assessors Map 14, Lot 218-5, to accommodate a 2,100 square foot coffee shop with drive-through window, concrete patio, and walk-up order window, along with 2,665 square feet of retail tenant space. Various site improvements are proposed, along with portions of the existing site being maintained for maximum extent practical. This meeting will be held virtually. Your virtual meeting link will be shown on the posted agenda on the Town of Raynham website at least 48 hours in advance of the hearing, or call the planning board office at 508-824-2745 for information. Copy of the plan and application may be viewed in full at Raynham Town Hall by appointment. Raynham Planning Board, Dan Hendry, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. So, who do we have? I can't see anybody on our screen anymore, we're blank. Who do we have out there representing 435 New State Highway?
Sure. Good evening, members of the commission. For the record, my name is Kevin Soley. I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of Massachusetts with Soley Engineering. Office is located at 351 Newbury Street in Boston. With me here this evening is Casey Birch from my office. So we're here tonight to talk about the proposed, re-tenanting, redevelopment of the former Friendly's, located on New State Highway. We are making minor site modifications, allow for a drive-through to be constructed at this facility. Casey is going to run through some of the more detailed, nuanced components of our design, and then we'll both be here to answer any questions that the commission may have.
Okay, very good. I have some rumbling going on in the background. I don't know if Chris and Brick, if you could just mute your, it's just humming over here and rattling.
Yeah, I'm muted.
Tell me how to mute and I will.
R6 first.
R6.
R.
R6.
R.
Star
Star
I'm
six.
sorry, star 6. And Chris, you're still on. I still have a green light, but as long as this, there you go, Brick, you're off. Chris is still, voice is there.
Yeah, I'm still here.
No, I know you're still there. Just sometimes we get static going on in the background, and it's okay.
I'm
So
muted.
we have.
The one thing I'd actually ask is, I'm not sure if you have the ability to make Casey a presenter. We pull together a brief presentation. He can share his screen, and we can kind of walk everyone through what we're proposing. If that would be okay.
Yeah. Well, we have a letter from our engineer that had quite a few items on it that needed to be addressed.
So we did submit a response to those comments. We actually submitted a response to the engineering comments, I think March 2nd, and we actually submitted a response to the comments related to traffic. So we have provided responses, but and I think I think we've been able to address those. We can talk through those issues. But we're certainly here to talk through the project.
Okay, well, we're not gonna talk through these responses at this meeting, not tonight, because there's quite a few of them, and we'd like to. You have sent these over to Niche Engineering.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. This is Steve Ventresca, Niche Engineering. Yes, we received engineering comments 2 days ago, I think, or yesterday, and then we received updated traffic and an updated plan set just before this hearing late this afternoon.
Okay, so
So
for
we
our
can take
next
the time to go through.
next meeting, we should have, but before our next meeting, we should have your comments, your review to his comments.
That's correct. That's correct.
Because-
And I'll just share to highlight the biggest discussion point is the connection. They have an overflow drainage connection into Mass DOT infrastructure, which I'm almost 100% sure is not allowed, and that's a discussion that needs to happen with MassDOT. But that's the biggest item that's outstanding at this point, from what I can see, just as a quick review.
All right, so if that's the biggest thing that's outstanding, then that really, we have no control over what Mass Highway is gonna do.
Right.
If they don't get an approval, which they already have a curb cut, if they don't get an approval from Mass Highway, then their drainage from what they have drawn won't work, so they will have to come back to us, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And we have submitted to MassDOT for that, and we're waiting. We're kind of pending their review, but we actually have been able to work with Steve, and I think we have an alternative. If they aren't in favor of what we're currently proposing, we have developed an alternative plan which mimics more the existing conditions, but we kind of felt our proposal was better. But we understand that we may get resistance from them, so we do have a backup plan, and we can maybe talk through that as part of maybe our the next hearing once we get more feedback from them. As we're going to be moving forward.
Okay, that sounds good. Then I will let you have the floor, and you can give us a quick explanation. Everybody knows where the former Friendly's is on Route 44. And you are proposing to put Starbucks in there along with another retail type business. And you're in front of us for a special permit for the drive-up window. I did see comments back from Concom that you don't need, Concom basically gave you the okay from them. So it's pretty much upgrading the drainage that you have proposed and providing that drive-up window in a safe manner.
That's correct.
So we all know the site, we all know the building, it's been there forever. We've, anybody that's in town has it.
That actually takes 4 slides away, so we can go forward.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm trying to help you out. If you just let me finish, we've all been there. We all know the property. I think our biggest concern, what's in front of us tonight, is the drive-up window. And I would like for you to start with the drive-up window, because and you obviously your parking layout is your parking layout. You have on your main plans that you had submitted prior to today, you had no waivers on the front cover, I believe. Are you proposing waivers?
Yes, we do have a couple waivers, yeah.
Okay, are those listed?
We did provide a waiver letter.
Oh, okay. All right. Then, all right, so if you can go over your drive-up window, go right ahead. State your name for the record.
Sure, my name is Stacey Birch. I'm a civil engineer with Solely Engineering. And yeah, essentially we're proposing a drive-through operations around the building, maintaining the existing building, and providing an addition for the pickup window. You'll enter the drive-through to the south here and come around and pick up your order here. This drive-through component does have a pre-order menu board, and an order board. And it also does have a bypass lane, which is a requirement from the tenant. And then you'll come back out here, do a reduced 16-foot wide drive, and then either exit here, or we are maintaining the exit in access egress to the South Street West as well. So that's kind of the circulation there. We're proposing 57 parking spaces, 388 spaces. We are reconfiguring this parking by striping, for putting landscape island back here and providing a landscape island through this to kind of maneuver the drive-through and the rest of the parking. Pretty much the layout of the site plan. We have a dumpster pad in the back that will have, we're removing the existing one and putting a larger one back here. It'll be a board-on-board fence with a concrete pad as well for street receptacles and recycling and regular trash. The employees will access that through a walk here, sidewalk down, and then able to get it through this way. So it avoids a lot of the circulation traffic that may happen over in this area.
Okay.
So we are proposing to, that's I guess a big thing on the town's part is the existing signage that's out there now. Obviously everybody knows it's large and intrusive. We are removing that, and we're proposing a new sign right at the eastern edge of the access. And it'll look something like this.
All right.
And in the rear,
nice. Yeah.
There's a existing sign in the rear. We're just going to kind of we plan to put a new base in and redo the actual panel.
Okay. Now, a question that I have for you, if you go back to your parking, there you go, right there, your parking plan. The parking area that you showed that you were restriping, reworking, yeah, right there. Are you taking, are you counting that parking as part of your parking?
So that parking is our property. That's correct. Yeah, that is part of our parcel, and that is part of our site. So that parking is ours. There's no, there's an access easement over the abutting parcel, the Monroe Muffler parcel, that gives us access out to that side street. But all of that parking is ours, and it does count towards our development.
Okay, so that does it
as well. So
now, do you have a guardrail or a barrier that separates the lower side to the parking lot? Like, yeah, right there. Is there anything stopping people?
There's one there now. We are proposing some planting in this area and some other plants in this area to kind of give it more of a separation.
Mr. Chairman, there's a wooden guardrail that separates the two parking lots at that location.
Okay. Because I know when you pull in there, it's kind of tight in that back area, and people, you'll be, if there's nothing, you know, if there is nothing there, having new businesses, maybe they'll be busier than the prior businesses, and they'll be overflowing that area because I think it's Rick's Music or something is in the back there, and there's really no parking behind where he is. Okay. I have,
There is a current curb here that we are maintaining as part of that. But yes, this whole area will be mulched and landscaped to provide more separation, and there is an existing wood guardrail.
okay. I went by there this afternoon, and I saw your stacking that you show on your plans. You have a tremendous amount of vehicles that can enter your drive-through coming off of the main parking lot as soon as they get to the back part of the building. Now you have an ordering board there, and from that point all the way around to where they're picking up their items, how many vehicles do you have in that queue?
8.
That is,
Or 7, excuse me.
that's 7 to that point,
So you have 7.
and then it's 4 after that.
How many vehicles have you did? I know you did a traffic study, and I have not seen that section, but have you done the scenario of what's going to happen when you have 7 vehicles that you can only fit 5 or 6 when they, after the pickup window to Route 44? How is that going to be working with the set of lights that's right there? Is there going to be a time delay from those lights to the people coming out? Are they going to be, you only have room for, I think, 6 maybe? So I'm not sure if you understand what I'm asking. But when those people come out...
I think I do, and I can summarize. So you're concerned with with vehicles on Route 44 that would hit that red light and queue up and potentially block our driveway for vehicles trying to exit the drive-through lane. Is that the concern?
That's part of the concern, but when your vehicles come past your drive-through and get to the edge of Route 44, and when that light is green, when that light is red, those people are not leaving your parking lot. And if they do have nice people to let them out, that's going to be one at a time. Nobody's going to sit there and wait for 5 cars to move. I'm just not sure how that's going to work.
Well, we have some space post. We have room actually after the pickup window for 1 car to stack next to the patio, and then we obviously have space for 2 cars to park or to stack up for that right out. The other benefit of this site is that we do have a second means of egress. So if someone was coming out of there and saw that there was a backup on 44, they'd have the ability to turn left and then exit out to that side street to get access to that signal. And I think there's probably going to be what we've done from a traffic standpoint and the distribution standpoint is we think that there's going to be a good amount of vehicles that actually make that maneuver, because obviously in front of our driveway we have the median which extends past our driveway, so we're restricted to right out exit only. So I think a lot of the people who are going to want to be traveling west are going to end up taking that left and kind of bypassing that egress, that potential issue from a stacking standpoint.
Stephen Tresco.
Sir.
You've reviewed the traffic report. Does it?
We did. We had our traffic engineer take a look at it, and they provided comments, and we did receive responses tonight, and so we need to look at those. But
all right,
to your point.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
What I'd like to hear that when the set of lights, if we could have, count how many seconds, how many minutes that those lights stay red, and how many vehicles are backed up from the lights to Starbucks' entrance, and what kind of timing is it going to be for those people to get out of that Starbucks? You got to remember, Starbucks is a lot should be, and hopefully would be a lot busier than Friendly's. Friendly's is a drive in, stop, get out, go up to the window, or go inside type business. Starbucks is a definite drive-through window type operation. Yes, they do say, you know, you can come in and sit down and go on your laptop and stuff, but with COVID and everything else, every one of our drive-throughs in the town of Raynham is backed up. We have Wendy's that has 20 cars queuing, and they're onto Route 44. I know we're in, you know, different circumstances with the COVID, but still, I'm just wondering if those lights, if there's something that needs to be done with the state to help, whether they be quicker or, I don't know, and I don't have any opinion on that unless we have an account and a study on, you know, on the amount of time somebody's going to have to exit onto Route 44 in between lights.
Okay. That's an excellent point. We will look at that, the scenario that you pointed out in our response back to the applicant in the traffic study.
Okay, because like I
The
say,
good thing about the good thing,
no,
sorry.
go ahead.
Just real quick, the good thing about the new layout for the Starbucks and the new operations for Starbucks is they do have a walk-up window, and they do like promote online orders for people to come park, go to the window, and pick it up as well. So I mean, if people see that, you know, a lot of people don't like to use the drive-through. I'm one of them. I'm a big proponent of going in, but if you can't because of peak time, they do have online orders, and you can actually come and pick up at the pickup window.
Yeah, no, and I did see that, and I think more businesses in the future are going to start having pickup windows. So you're going to have not only queuing for your drive-up window, you're going to have people trying to exit the parking lot, and you do have only one entrance / exit going onto Route 44. So that goes to my, you know, that makes my thought process even worse, because now you have potentially twice as many cars trying to exit 44, and how's that going to work with lights that are on and off? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that, but when I was in there today, that was the first thing that came to mind, was this type of business is in and out, in and out, in and out, and it's a lot different than Friendly's was, and it is awful close to the intersection. And you know, lights in a lot of cases can be good for a business, and in this case, I think the lights might hurt the business, because it's going to take. If I'm sitting waiting to get onto Route 44 and I miss that light, boy, am I going to be mad, because now I have to wait for the next light. And let's hope, you know, somebody had a good morning and they're going to let me out, because most of the time they don't. So that's my, you know, that's what I saw when I was over there today. That was my concern. There are many horns blowing in front of Dunkin' Donuts in the morning when people are trying to squeeze out of Dunkin' Donuts and scuttle through 2 lanes of traffic to get on the other side of 44 to exit going east. And you know, so and they have a longer distance from their drive-up window to Route 44. So, but I think that's something that should be looked at.
The difference between Dunkin' Donuts and this, they need to go east. They have no choice but to go that way. Where Starbucks does have the choice, so if you become a regular customer, you're not going to try to go left out of there. You're going to go around the building and go out South Street West.
Well, no, you can go and eat inside of Dunkin' Donuts. You can go in there. They make sandwiches. They have counter service that you can go up there.
If you want to go left out of Dunkin' Donuts, that's your only option. If you want to go east to Friendly, so.
Oh, right. I see. Right. I see what you're saying.
Interest.
So,
you know, waiting to cross flow traffic, you're going to go around the South Street West and catch the light.
You will, but if I just got through picking up my coffee and there's 5, 6 cars in front of me, because they're waiting for the light onto Route 44, and I can't even move to get out to the left to go to South Street,
Yeah, that could,
then what's going to happen? I mean, look at how many cars you have for queuing. You're going to have you're going to have a problem. You're not going to, like I said, hopefully this is a fast in and out type business. It's how they make their money. Even though Starbucks is a little more money for coffee than other places, and you're gonna it's a fast moving place. So I just think that they should do just let us know what it is. What does the data show you? How fast do those people have to move and leave that parking lot? That's all I'm asking.
So I can actually touch on that a little bit, because we actually did do traffic counts as part of our traffic study, and we looked at the data at that intersection, and we actually applied a COVID growth factor to it as well.
Yeah.
So our analysis kind of includes I think everyone generally sees a lower traffic volume right now than they did during the peak, so we accounted for that. The good thing about this signal is that obviously the main traffic volumes are on Route 44. So they get the maximum amount of green time. And actually going eastbound, that's probably one of the more predominant movements. And that the overall intersection has a 120-second cycle length, so that it takes, it's actuated, which means that, the minor approaches get called when there's vehicles there queuing up. But the main line approach gets the most amount of green. And with 120-second cycle length, how that intersection is modeled and controlled or programmed is that those mainline approaches have 65 seconds of green time to allow those vehicles to clear, and the minor approaches have 35 seconds of green time to clear. And then they also have additional time to allow for the advanced protected left turns. So if you're taking a left, going northbound, or turning north, just taking a left on 44 for our approach, you have the ability to kind of have an extra 20 seconds of green time before the through line goes. So it actually, from a program standpoint, it is programmed so that the majority of the time is allotted towards those movements, which should, help create gaps to allow for those vehicles to exit onto that road. But a lot of it is based on, since it's an actuated signal, it is based on when the minor approaches get called and when there's vehicles queuing and things like that. So, the good news is obviously that those are the mainline approaches, and the volumes on the minor are considerably lower than what you're experiencing for the eastbound and the westbound route. So it is something we looked at, and what, from an analysis standpoint, some of the peer review comments, and I look forward to seeing the next round of comments based on our responses. We looked at not only the AM peak and the Saturday midday peak, because those are the real peak times for our use. We also looked at the afternoon peak as well, because that was something that was requested. But from an analysis standpoint and a traffic standpoint, the actual Saturday is the biggest potential conflict, the highest congestion. So that's kind of what we did, from an analysis standpoint. That's the primary concern. We obviously have AM volumes as well, which we looked at, but it's really the AM and the Saturday are those peak periods. So we did look at, what that timing might be and how those gaps are. We can certainly, continue to work with Steve's group and provide more information, but I like that we've done our best to address it. This is a heavily traveled commercial area, and there's a lot of capacity in the intersection, which is good. But it actually operates pretty well from a signal standpoint, and our new trips that we'd be putting on the roadway aren't that significant. And from a trip generation standpoint, we're anticipated to put probably 50 total new trips, or 49 new trips in the morning, 25 coming and 24 leaving. And then on Saturday, that's even a busier period, but that's 36 coming and 35 leaving. And that's in the whole peak hour. So when you actually look at and apply those, and the fact that we have two means of egress, we think that, traffic has a tendency of finding its equilibrium, and drivers get really aware where the backups are and where the delays are, and they find a way to get around it. I mean, I'm sure everyone here has said, I'm gonna figure out a way to get around this blockage because I know a quicker route. And I think that's why we're expecting a good amount of people to really turn left out of that drive-through the parking lot, and then go out to the side street to get access to the signal from the other approach.
Okay, yeah, and that sounds good. Excuse me, do you have any stop signs, stop here when they leave, before they enter? So if there's a vehicle that's coming on the outside lane, you said you have an outside drive-through pass lane?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, so they're driving past the drive-through and they want to get out and they want to go left, but they're blocked by cars trying to get onto 44. They're not going to go left. Is there an arrow? Is there a sign? Is there a speed bump, something?
That's a great suggestion. We don't have, but we can certainly add some signage to say, don't block that, don't block that egress from the drive-through. We have that patio right out in front of the store right there, and we can definitely add some signage. I think that's a great suggestion. We're happy to add that to the plan and incorporate that.
And again, it may be a silly little thing, but there's not very many nice drivers out there these days that are friendly enough to stop and let you go, whether you're walking or driving.
Yeah, no,
and signs
we
are
can
only
even
for-
add some pavement markings too, to almost like, don't block the box kind of thing that you see in bigger cities.
Yeah,
Very good idea.
I just think you're gonna have something. You're gonna need to do something right there to let if that person is in that lane, which is basically a passing lane, to get out quicker.
Yeah.
Then if I see 44 is busy, then I'm gonna go left. And if I can't get out left, then now I even have more of a bottleneck because that guy that's trying to go right wants to make the light. The guy that wants to go left is. So I just see a lot of hopefully your scenarios and your traffic report. I'd like to see some vehicles. After Mitch looks at it, and I hope Steve, you look at what we're talking about, and I know it's existing, and Route 44 is a very fast-moving road. We've all been on it. If you've been in town for any length of time, and there are some businesses over there you just don't go to at certain times of the day because of that reason. And it's not getting any less, it's getting busier. So those are the buildings existing. Myself, I don't have a problem with, when I saw Starbucks was going there, I was happy because I didn't even realize Friendly said closed when I got the notice that Starbucks was going there. So much I try to stay away from 44. But all right, well, I talked enough of that window. Steve, you have my input. Russ, do you have anything else to add to the location, drive-up window?
Well, just wondering if there are any signs planned that would point the people who are unfamiliar with the area to the alternate way out to get to Route 44.
Right. Well, that's what I'm hoping that they do, because if they're going to generate 25, 35, 40 new people a day, I look at it as people that normally drive there are going to be the ones going. So if you're going to generate that many new cars, then yeah, you got to let them know where to go.
Yeah.
So I just think, I think that should be pretty well highlighted. To people will travel. It's amazing. It's amazing that people will travel from one town to another just to go to a Starbucks. My daughter's one of them. It's crazy, but there's got to be something in the coffee.
Yeah.
So we just want to make sure when they come to Raynham, they're not crashing on Route 44. Matthew, questions?
I'll let you know.
Will those
I grew
parking
up in Bridgewater, and I live in Bridgewater, and this is my Chipotle right here. So I understand the traveling to another town just to get what you want.
All right, Matthew?
Will the parking spots along the building have bollards in front of them?
Good question.
You
Yes,
have
yes,
four
they do.
spots.
They're bollard and sign combination. So these are the ADA spaces. It will have a sign with a bollard base, and these are Starbucks order parking spaces that will have bollard signs, a bollard base at the time.
Okay, so all parking spaces facing any walkway or building has bollards in front of them.
Correct.
Okay. That answers your question?
Yeah.
Chris, any questions?
No, I think, Judith Mitch has to go through his comments and come back the next meeting and evaluate his traffic. But I think Russ's idea with the signage is a good idea, where you could actually steer the people similar to how the McDonald's did on 138. They'd have like a sign that would say, basically, go left to go out if you want to go east, type of thing. But,
Yeah, when we approved those changes over there, we gave them a waiver to not to be less than 40 feet from the edge of the road, just so they could be able to do that, because there were so many problems and accidents going on over there. We were happy to see them doing the reconstruction of that McDonald's, because it was a similar thing. They were close to the intersection, and the police department said it's a mess. So, no, that's a good point bringing that up, because that was another one that we had, and they had a side street similar to this.
Yeah,
very similar situation.
And you can't pull out onto 44 and go left here, right?
No.
Yeah, so anybody that pulls in that doesn't know, they've got to have a sign to tell them how to go. Or if that island ends where it looks like it ends on this plan, you're going to have people trying to take that left out of the, like they do at McDonald's.
Is that secondary lane next to that passing lane, is that required?
He said it's required by Starbucks. Which,
It's a bypass lane, so that what it does is that if somebody, one of the things that they've learned a lot about their operations is that they know how many spaces they want in between the pickup window and the order menu board. And what happens is if you get to the menu board and you place your order, and they know that it's something that might take a long time, they may direct you to go around and pick a parking spot, so that they can move vehicles through that drive-through as efficiently as possible. So that the bypass is really to allow for them to kind of manage their orders. And if someone pulls up and says, "Hey, I need, I need a box of coffee to take with me, and this, that, and the other thing," and they know that might make them slow down their delivery at the pickup window, they'll say, "All right, I want you to pull around and then go park in the parking spot labeled for pickups, and we'll bring the order out to you." So that's something that they want to see in all their new stores, just based on it, especially now with COVID and the need and the necessity for drive-throughs. Everyone's learning how to do it much more efficiently. So they've kind of come out with some post-COVID design guidelines that they want to see implemented on all their stores, and I think it's somewhat cool to be part of some of these new, some of these newer operations that are kind of coming out. So we were able to incorporate all that design into this plan.
okay, yeah, or you have the problem sometimes that I have after I order. I reach into my pocket for my wallet and I left it home and I want to get the heck out of the line. So I need a place to go, or else I'd be sitting there the entire time, get to the window. Okay, one other problem, one other concern that I have, and Burke, before I get to my last comment, do you have questions or concerns that they can address before they come back for the next hearing? I know you're out there, Burke. I see you. Hit *6. and you will unmute. There you go. Gotcha. Questions, concerns, comments? All I heard was a cat.
Apologies, that was actually my daughter.
Oh, no problem. I'm not sure, Brick, able, I see Brick's online, but,
I offer one more comment there.
yeah, go ahead.
This is, I think, Starbucks as well as kind of Maureen. Instead of hyperlinks and all this other stuff, could you just simply send a PDF plan so it could be emailed?
You were broke. Can you repeat that?
Could you send the PDF plans? I'm not a hyperlink person, and none of that stuff would download for me. So, just all your revised plans, you send Maureen a PDF.
A PDF plan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's other that are coming in tonight, like in PDF format, like you read.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. The plan set's pretty significant, so it might have to come in portions if we can't get it reduced, but yeah, we'll definitely send it that way.
Okay.
I'm still on AutoCAD for followers, that'll tell you anything.
All right, one last point that I'd like to make is we spent this whole time talking about Starbucks and how much that we're concerned about that bottleneck at the entrance and drive-up window. What happens, how did you put into play the unit that is empty is bigger than Starbucks, I believe. How much traffic and what are you projecting to go into that space, and how does that look when everything hits 44? Now, again, I would agree before you even say that most of those people in the back area will probably go to South Street because they're closer, but I don't know what business is going there yet because it's still an open space. But what kind of calculations did you add for that?
So we're expecting that to be just kind of a dry retail use. So it might be like a phone store. I think Spectrum was looking at it at one point, but they're going in a different location. So we're expecting that to be much more like a traditional dry retailer, not another restaurant use or anything like that. So we did include trip generation for that in accordance with, traffic engineering methodologies and standard trip generation rates. And so that is included into our traffic study. So we do have volumes for that. And generally a store like that, of that size, isn't generating anything considerable. Their biggest generation would be on a Saturday, midday, peak period, just like our coffee. So we're kind of looking at that as the worst case scenario for how everything would operate.
Okay, just so you do have that into your calculations, because it's going to be half empty, so.
We do.
In the phone store, that would be, that would be an ideal type. There's a phone store that's over near.
The one in Taunton.
No, right across the parking lot, and they have hardly no parking. You have to back up just about onto 44, and they don't seem to be having a problem. All right, so anything else like to add before we continue this until the next hearing?
No, just that we really appreciate the dialogue and the discussion. I think we have some really good suggestions on how we can add some additional signage and striping to the plan to kind of protect against a lot of the concerns that were raised. So we appreciate the dialogue, and we'll see you at the next meeting.
All right, is there anybody out there that would like to speak on questions about?
Yes, I would, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
Can you hear Burke?
Yes, well, Burke, you there? I was asking for you, but you couldn't.
I'm here.
All right, gotcha. What was your comments?
My comment is I'm very concerned with this easement, right-of-way, whatever it is, out to South Street West. makes it sound like, oh, this will take all the overflow from 44 and it'll be nice. South Street West is a mess with the amount of traffic that has, with people pulling in from all directions from 44 and across the street. You have the gas station, the muffler shop, and the plaza all have entranceways almost immediately, and you've got cars coming in from three sides. It's very difficult to get out of those places, get back onto Route 44.
Yeah, and I know your new location is, you travel that probably just about every morning and afternoon, so you know what's happening over there. That, I'm not gonna answer for the applicant. I would assume that Friendly's already had an easement on that property. I don't think that that's anything new, but if the representative for Starbucks could answer that, what Mr. Fountain was talking about.
Yeah, that's correct. That easement does exist. We do have the right to pass through there, and that exists. That runs with the property, so that we do have those rights, and that access is being maintained. And obviously, it's very beneficial because it allows for that relief from a traffic standpoint. So that does exist. It's legally established. The rights are there. They can't really restrict that. And we do understand that South Street obviously has challenges, but all that is included in our analysis. So we did look at that very carefully. And obviously, we're looking forward to see Steve's response to our latest response to his comments, and we're happy to work with him and the rest of the group to satisfy everybody's concerns.
Okay, so Steve, make sure, I'm sure you will, if it's in their report anyway, but make sure that you address the South Street concerns that Burke's bringing up.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
as soon as you have your review, send it out as soon as possible so we can all read it before we get here on the next meeting. Anything
Okay.
else, Burke?
No, that's it.
Okay. Have you, in the traffic study, I'm not sure that this would count either way, but did you do any analysis on what that current property, what Friendly's would have used? Because that would put some numbers to the situation. You know, it was Friendly's, we know they've slowed down over the years, but on, you know, what was Friendly's doing for volume out of that property versus what you're going to do? I'm not sure if that's something that you would do in traffic study, but.
Yeah, so generally, it's a good point. And usually what we're allowed to do from a traffic standpoint is to kind of take a credit for any existing trips that are on the site. When we did our analysis, we actually took a much more conservative approach and didn't even take any credit for the existing trips that were out there. We can certainly provide, I don't have the data right now, but I can provide a comparison of what Friendly's would generate versus what we're expected to generate. And I will say that the one benefit from our use is that a lot of our uses are pass-by uses. So they're more of people who are already on the roadway or on their way somewhere who want to stop and grab a coffee. So it's a lot less new trips on the roadway network than people who would be going to a Friendly's, because those are generally, you know, new trips. I want to go to Friendly's for lunch. It's not like you're driving by on your way. You're going there, you're parking, you're going inside, and you're eating. So I think that's another kind of benefit from a traffic standpoint is a lot of our traffic is bypass traffic. It's stuff that's already on the network that you're on your way to work or you're on your way somewhere else and you say, I want to go stop and grab a coffee.
Well, that's why I'm asking, because a lot of times we look at a business coming in and we look at the current traffic. It sounds like an awful lot of traffic, but what is the current state? Like I said, it is an existing building. There must be some information on the current state. So if we had some comparison, it may not look as bad, but still the signage, the information on what's going to happen on South Street, what's going to happen on the timing of the lights, all that stuff is something that Mitch will have to review for us, because you know, that's our only part of this whole project is the drive-up window. And I think it's the most important, you know, one item. If the parking lot floods, nobody's gonna go there. If the drive-up window doesn't work, it's gonna be a mess. And that's, you know, not just a mess, but it's gonna be dangerous, and it's gonna be, you know, life-threatening. Somebody, road rage these days are awful. Two of the most worst things since COVID. Houses and businesses burning down and road rage. So let me get to some callers. Who, please, can I hear from somebody who has questions about this project? Andy.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, my name's Andy Mann. I'm one of two principals that own 421 New State Highway, representing 421 Partners LLC. We own the Chipotle, Verizon, Rick's Music, etc. property that was referenced a couple times tonight. Just wanted to voice our support for this project. Actually, we had some concerns when we initially received the information. We met with the applicant on site, and I think we had an excellent dialogue, and they made several changes to the proposal that addressed some of the concerns we had in relation to the way our property works with their property and issues that have been going on over the years. So we were very happy. Friendly's wasn't always the best neighbor. It was owned by a large corporation. They didn't really get the response that you needed, so we're looking forward to having a more locally based owner. You know, there is some definite truth that the South Street Act easement does get a good amount of access. I think that you know, the customers coming from our property utilize that area as well. Again, it'll be nice to have a neighbor that helps participate. That easement is supposed to be a responsibility that's shared by our property, the former Friendly's property, and the Monroe Muffler property. It gets used a lot by the Coaching Plaza, although they have no rights to the easement and don't share in the operation and maintenance of it. So we're looking forward to having a friendly neighbor that will do its part in sharing the maintenance and help repave that area. So we're looking forward to that. And we also think that aesthetically, it would be nice to clean up that property, and we like what they proposed for some of the various landscaping scenarios. I think that wooden barrier was mentioned earlier this evening. We were talking about whether perhaps that could be replaced with a curb and then some nice mulching trees. I think that those are some of the things we thought, but we wanted to just offer our full support for this project because it'd be a nice attribute to the community in the area, and we're looking forward to having a good neighbor. Thanks.
All right, very good, thank you. And I assume that part of this project is going to be fixing all those potholes and repaving that back area? Is that part of Friendly's? Is that part of Starbucks' role of this job?
That was one of the items that we addressed yesterday, and yes, they did say that. We would be paying our proportionate share of it, as is obligated under the easement, but they will be performing the work, and we're happy to have the work done.
All right. Well, you do have a very busy plaza with tight parking. I go to the battery store all the time, and I have a king cab truck, so I have a hard time getting my truck twisted into the parking spaces, but I always go out South Street. I never go back out 44 because just having a bigger truck, I'd never get out. And just making that right-hand turn, I'd be wiping out my tires on the curb, and because I can't make a tight right turn on, and stay in one lane.
Right. We appreciate you patroning the property. We can't take full responsibility. We didn't develop it. We did just acquire it. So, we inherited a lot of existing conditions. But thanks for visiting our tenants. We appreciate it.
All right. And one, seeing I have you on the phone, clean up your sign. The sign out front could do some painting and some cleanup. And it's always, I don't know, the past customer or owner, it always seemed a little ratty. So with new owners and new businesses, I would, unless you're new, so maybe you have cleaned it up.
I think we have cleaned it up, but we'll certainly take a look at it.
All right. Very good, thank you. Anybody else? Next? Yes. comments? Anybody? No further comments. Okay, so we're going to continue this until April 1st. That's our next hearing. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. March 18th is our next hearing, not April. I apologize. We can continue this until March 18th. We have 3 public hearings on that night. Well, I think we talked this one into the ground, so I'm going to put you on for March 18th at 6:40 because we have 3 public hearings already that evening. And I really hope that you work with Nitch and we all get some good reports before the March 18th hearing so we don't have to spend as much time with you and we can let you go and do your thing and put our efforts towards all these other public hearings. So I'm counting on the engineers to get together and have some real dialogue over the next week and a half or so.
Will do.
All right. Okay, so it's going to get continued until 6:40 on March 18th. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Burke, aye.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. All right, for a little drive-up window, that was a lot. Now, Maureen, I'm sure I would hate to see you print all these out again. I'm sure they're going to have some changes, but you probably say the. Yeah, no, these younger guys are pretty computer savvy. Us older guys, you know, we still cut trees down to make so we can write on them. All right. Next on our agenda, we have a public hearing for 33 Commercial Street Site Plan Special Permit. Russ?
The Raynham Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Thursday, March 4th, 2021, 6:30 p.m. at Raynham Veterans Memorial Town Hall, 558 South Main Street, on application for site plan approval submitted by John Kelly for a plan proposed by Lighthouse Industrial Group, LLC, Raynham, Mass. To construct 7,420 square foot garage storage facility with associated enclosed loading dock, parking, grading, stormwater management, utilities, and wetland replication. Special permit is sought in accordance with Raynham zoning bylaws section 6.5E for reduction in the required parking spaces. Locus property is 0 Richmond Street / Commercial Street, Assessor's Map 14, Lot 50-1, Raynham, Mass. This meeting may be held virtually. A virtual meeting link will be shown on the posted agenda on the Town of Raynham website at least 48 hours in advance of the hearing, or call the Planning Board office at 508-824-2745 for information. Copy of the plan and application may be viewed in full at Raynham Town Hall by appointment. Raynham Planning Board, Daniel Landry, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. For all those that are out there that still have your mic on, we're getting a lot of squeaking and squirreling, and just so I don't shut you off on our end, could you please mute your mics until it's time you want to say something, please? Okay, so we have, who's here for 33 Commercial Street site plan?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Shane Oates with Center Mount Land Development, representing Lighthouse Industrial, LLC. We did just receive our initial peer review letter from Steve a couple of days ago. So we still haven't gone through that completely, and obviously we haven't responded. So we will need some time to do that. If appropriate, I could share the screen. If I can share my screen, I can at least take a look at the layout plan and go over that with everyone. so they can see what we're proposing to do.
Yeah, why don't you? I see we have some people in that neighborhood watching, so before we send you off for a continuance, why don't you show us what you're looking to do?
Sure. So the parcel is located at the corner of Commercial and Richmond Street. It's just west of Richmond and north of Commercial, right next to 33 Commercial Street, where the existing or the proposed owner is. So what the proposal includes is really just an extension of their existing building at 33 Commercial Street. Right here you can see there's an approximately 7,400 square foot garage and storage facility. It has an interior loading dock, a few parking spaces for it. It won't be manned daily. It'll just be to store the vehicles that they currently store outside at 33 Commercial Street. We obviously have associated utility tie-ins for a bathroom. There'll probably be a small office inside. And we also have some stormwater management that we've proposed. And Mitch has reviewed those and has a couple of comments. So I'm hopeful that over the next couple of weeks, we can have some good discussions with Steve and wrap up their concerns and then come back to the board with those. In the meantime, we will be submitting a notice of intent for Conservation Commission. You can see there's some wetlands located to the north. The property basically encompasses about half of the acre-and-a-half parcel. And we're proposing some 2-to-1 replication so that we can kind of square off those wetlands. Really a scrub brush type area, not high quality wetlands by any means. But that'll have to be something that we do through the conservation. So that's really just a quick take on everything. So if anyone has questions, the board, neighbors, happy to answer what I can at the moment.
Yeah, one question I have. What's the distance from the back of your building to the property line behind you?
It's a little over 180 feet.
So 180 feet from the back of the building to the property line?
Yeah, there's a 50-foot requirement, so we're exceeding.
Okay, but all that land, most of that land in the back is all wetland, so it'll never be built on or won't be filled in to put racks for storage or anything?
No, absolutely not. There'll be we're staying out of the proposed outside of the 25-foot buffer. We did make an initial submission to conservation about 1.5 years ago to just kind of pave the lot. And they really wanted us to keep out of this proposal. We're able to do that. We're also going to remove some old piles of materials that are out on the existing site as well. It'll be cleaned up significantly.
All right, and one other question I have before I move to the other members. Are you inside this building? You say you're going to store your vehicles. Are you going to be doing loading and unloading inside there? You're going to have fork trucks running and...
No, I don't believe they will be. This is just a place to get the trucks and vehicles out of the weather. The loading dock is just what they do is they recycle a lot of materials from construction sites. So part of the storage in this building will probably be recycled materials they get from one project that they need to use onto another project. And that'll really be the extent of it.
Okay. Matthew, any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah, 1 minute. I'll get to you, and I'm going to go through the board, and then we'll get to the homeowners. Sorry. Matthew?
Thank you.
No, I pulled it up on Google Maps to see what was around it, but...
Russ?
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I'm looking at the
All
Google
right.
Maps, so...
Burke, are you out there?
Hello?
Yes.
Am I out there?
Yes, I see you, Burke. Are you, any questions at this point in time?
No, not at this time.
All right, Chris?
Shane, could you send Maureen a PDF? Because I have no idea. I don't even have a plan. And same with the next job.
Yeah.
And can't effectively.
Yeah, I sent a share file link, but I can break that up into PDFs that could just be emailed if that's easier.
That would be nicer. I mean, I'm not a share file like that.
Sure.
Okay.
No problem.
All right, yes, can we hear from Sue, Mrs. Peabody?
Yes. I have a question about the certified letters that we got. My certified letter appeared in my mailbox, and it had the signature card torn off. So I have not signed for a letter for this meeting.
Okay. So,
does that impact, because I'm a direct abutter, does that invalidate what's going on at this point?
no, because you're here in person. You're on Zoom, so you have notification. You obviously know the hearing is tonight. If you showed up after we did our hearing and voted to approve or deny and said you didn't receive anything, that would be something that we would look into. But right now, with the information that's in front of us, they still have quite a few things that they have to address and work with our town engineer. And then it's going to be continued tonight, so you will have notice of when the next hearing is. Because anybody that received, abutters that received a certified letter for tonight's hearing will not receive any letters going forward. So the only way they find out is either by calling the town or being present at this meeting to find out when the next hearing is going to be.
Okay, well, my only other question to go with this is there something there with my name signed on it, as they have to turn in these green cards?
No.
That would have came back to someone, it's Chris. The post office, and this happened to me, they take the liberty to not go to the door and just take the cards. So you're not the first, that's through the post office. Yeah.
No one has signed my signature on that?
No.
Probably not.
Not that we have, not that we have in our possession.
All right, thank you.
All right, anybody else out there with questions? Bob, yes, Bob Iafredi,
Just a
Commissioner.
couple of things I want to bring to your attention so that you can have a discussion at the next meeting. You'll have to ask for a waiver of parking. There's not enough parking spots for that size building. Also, based on the configuration and the proximity of the front of this building to the front of the roadway, they're only 2.5 feet further back than required. But based on the use that this company has, they do have large trailers. They do have large pieces of equipment. Those pieces and those trailers could very easily be on the roadway when they unload. There's no place to get rid of a tractor or an excavator on this piece of property, so I'm concerned there's going to be overflow onto Commercial Street and Richmond Street. I've witnessed what they're a pretty large construction company. They have large pieces of equipment, so I would just be careful that in any kind of approval, there's some kind of condition that they can't be loading or offloading on the Commercial Street.
Okay. Well, and I'm sure you got that information, the engineer. Maybe you can pass that along. I don't think you have the room to unload excavators or anything else in the front of this property. But that would certainly be a condition on the any approval that this basically becomes a storage facility for vehicles and materials that are being stored, because Commercial Street, Commercial Way, whatever it's called, is not going to be able to get blocked or driven all over with excavators. And I'm sure you haven't done it on the existing building you're at, so hopefully you're not going to be doing it here.
Mr. Chairman, they should also come to the next meeting with some kind of rendering of the building, what the building going to look like, materials, how big, and the facade at least.
Okay. Mr. Iafredi's asking at the next hearing if you could provide some renderings
Absolutely.
and materials for the outside. What is it going to look like? That type of thing.
Sure. And I will mention the overflow to the applicant. We did submit a waiver for the reduction in parking, and that'll be an ongoing discussion with niche engineering as well. But yeah, I think we can take care of all his concerns.
Okay. Anybody else? No questions? We're going to continue this until, do you think March 18th is enough time to take care of all of your questions?
I would probably suggest the April 1st hearing just to be realistic so that he has some time to review our revisions.
Okay. Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to continue this until April 1st, but please do me a favor. Don't wait until March 27th to send us the information.
Understood.
Only,
Understood.
only because if he's willing to go to April 1st, it's going to help us out for March 18th. And I would like to have all that information ahead to him and to the town so we can all read it and do our own reviews. And
Okay. That's
all
fair.
right?
And so they can go back and forth a
That's
couple
fair.
of times and
Right, and then
finalize everything.
you can be discussing with the engineer of the project and try to get all but the few items that the planning board needs to vote on ready for that night.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, Shane and I have a good working relationship, and we will do that.
Okay, thank you. What was that, Maureen?
Thank you.
Okay. Time to act is going to be up. So would the engineer be able to?
I'll send him a form Monday.
Maureen is going to send you a form that needs to be filled out and signed to extend the time, and I would extend it till the end of April.
Absolute problem.
April, May, whatever you want to do, so we don't have to be asking again. And
Sure.
we're going to continue this hearing until April 1st at 6:10. So, hearing will be continued until 6:10 on April 1st. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, very good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next on the agenda is a public hearing for Ryan Drive, Broadway site plan. Russ?
The Raynham Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Thursday, March 4th, 2021, 6:40 p.m. at Raynham Veterans Memorial Town Hall, 558 South Main Street, on application for site plan approval submitted by Lawrence W. Kelly for a plan prepared for K&S Realty Trust, Raynham, Mass. to construct 66,300 square foot industrial building with associated parking lot, truck loading docks, site utilities, and drainage facilities, all on property at Ryan Drive, Broadway, Assessors Map 1, Lot 14, Raynham, Mass. This meeting may be held virtually. A virtual link will be shown on the posted agenda on the Town of Raynham website at least 48 hours in advance of the hearing, or call the Planning Board office at 508-824-2745 for information. A copy of the plan and application may be viewed in full at Raynham Town Hall by appointment. Raynham Planning Board, Daniel Andre, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. I assume, where's our engineer in this project? Could you state your name for the record?
Yeah, Shane Oates again with Centermont Land Development, 33 Commercial Street, Raynham. Thank you.
Okay. What's that?
I don't have any plans in PDF, and nothing was sent to me. I really can't intelligently participate. I'd like to get a plan that's big so I can review it and become part of the process. Also, which I'm not gonna participate in. So I think I might check after the meeting now, ask send PDFs of the plan, so I can review them before the next week. And then I will participate.
Okay. All right.
You would have, I will be part of it.
See you.
Okay, appreciate it.
All right, very good. So it's 7:35. Chris is leaving the meeting. He's going to get some plans, PDFs. This Aaron is going to be, he's just going to give us an overview of what the project is. Because we have several items. There's generally a 20-item list. I usually ask for an continuance because there's too many items on here for us to be reviewing. They should be down to minimal items that the board needs to address, and not a lot of the clerical stuff that goes between town engineer and our applicant. So with that said, I will turn it over to you. Give us a quick, I assume you have not received the information or the letter from Mitch?
Yes, actually, Mr. Chairman, we did the same time as we did the previous project.
Okay.
I also just mentioned on the call with us is Mr. Larry Kelly, NS Realty Trust, and Ryan Iron. He is one of the applicants for the project. So I'll give you a quick overview of the list. We did just get a peer review letter from Steve, which we'll be working on immediately, and we're happy to continue the back and forth with him on this project. This project has actually been submitted to the town in a few iterations, a 3-building design, a 2-building design over the years. So it's very similar to those previous submissions. It probably has been 7 or 8 years since the last approval for this parcel of land. But the design and the intent is going to be the same. We're proposing a 66,300 square foot industrial style building with 10 units. Exactly the same type of uses that exist out in the Ryan Industrial Park now. We have 2 access points. This access point here, closer to the east in 138, is for vehicles to be able to access office space, the front parts of the building. The second access point further down Ryan Drive is for loading trucks, deliveries, etc. And in this iteration as well, we have an egress only onto Broadway 138 for those delivery vehicles, 18-wheelers, box trucks, etc. And that's something that we'll be working alongside the highway department with. Again, uses will vary. They'll be leased out, whatever type of tenants they can successfully sign to a lease. So that's really about it. We obviously have significant stormwater drainage design, utilities. There is an existing pump station at the back of Ryan Drive, which we'll be tying into, and then it's force mains back up to Route 138. Other utilities, but like in the advertisement, loading docks, dumpster pads out back, there'll be plenty of screening, etc. So if anyone has any questions, happy to answer them.
Yeah, right off the bat, I was going to ask you, I do remember seeing that this was in front of the board years ago, and I thought we did an approval, or had an approval, and I was, without looking back at our old plans, I thought it was one building or multiple buildings, but I know it was a large project, which is why I'm surprised that we have such a long laundry list from Niche Engineering when I would think that we would have had the original plan and maybe a modification to the original approval and not this 50 items. I was just a little surprised that why are we starting all over from scratch if it was pretty close to what we already approved.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I believe the last approved documents were 3 buildings. And what they were basically rotated 90 degrees, and they extended down Ryan Drive entirely. Happened with that is there were some natural heritage issues / taking, I'll call it. So there's a portion of this side of the lot now that we're not currently able to develop. Now the mapping has changed since we found that maybe in the future there could be future development back there. But this is definitely a different proposal. We have followed methodology for design, and some of the obviously the drainage requirements have changed since I believe this 2013, 2014.
Well, I think that's one reason why I was asking why this wasn't a modification if it was that close, because I would think you would have fallen under the regs that we had at that time. But if you say that those 3 buildings and square footage and parking and calculations is all different, then that's you're the engineer. So
yeah.
All right. So again, we have a tremendous amount of items here that you have to work with niche engineering. And landscape lighting, Ryan area, that's Ryan Drive. It's always been the back there's always been successful businesses. I go in there all the time. Landscape seed places in there, and chainsaw and lawnmower repair, and I buy stuff, and I've never had a problem, never seen any traffic coming. It's not a robust, the roadways are huge entering the property. I don't see that, being an issue. It's like a runway when you drive in there. It's so the place looks, from what's been there, the place looks good. I don't see, again, with what we have on, Nich's review letter, I would assume that you would be able to clean that up quite a bit.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything to say? Anybody, members of the board? You want to, we'll wait until Niche gets, they get Nich's review, and they, Bert, any questions for this project?
Bert has nothing at this time.
Okay. Any abutters, homeowners, any residents interested in Ryan Drive project that have questions? Hearing none. Are you gonna come back on April 1st with this one also?
Sure, I think that's fine.
So we're gonna go April 1st, and we're gonna go 6/15, April 1st. This Ryan Drive will be continued until 6/15. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
All right. Very good. Thank you. And again, you can work with Steve from Niche Engineering, and please, work vigorously so you can have a lot of the issues taken care of. If there's anything during the next, what is it, going to be the next 4 weeks, if there's anything that comes up that can't be addressed with our review engineer, then you can just, obviously you're going to leave that on our to-do list. You can, ahead of your April 1st hearing, you can just notify the board, notify our office, Maureen, that these items that are left that need to be addressed is something that you would like to address the board and it wasn't able to take care of. And that way there, we do see the emails and we will know what's up for April 1st.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, Todd Hamilton, discussion, Lincoln Woods subdivision. And we have...
We're not talking about that tonight.
And we're not...
Correct.
Oh, yes, Burke, go ahead.
I am checking out.
Okay, Burke. Burke is checking out. Very good. It is 7:45, and Burke is out. So we're not talking about.
Mr. Chairman, the applicant is not ready with his documents, so he's asked for a continuance. We'll put him on the agenda when I get the documentation. So right now.
All right. Todd Hamilton discussion. Lincoln Woods is not ready and will be placed on future agendas. Correspondence. This is my last paper, so I don't have any correspondence. I did receive correspondence from sewer, water, relating to these developments, and but other than that, I don't have anything in front of me. Invoices and bills, we have been paying, and I think I think I will make a motion at this time, seeing we're talking about invoices and bills, that we make a motion to transfer a sum of $10,000 from our holding account that planning board has control over, to be transferred to a planning board regular account, so we can pay niche engineering for town money, town bills, for the rules and regs updating. He has been working with us for quite a few months now, and we're a little more than halfway done. So we do have additional work. So I make a motion that $10,000 gets transferred out of that one account that Maureen will identify into our regular, into our, if that's the account that you have to pay, then yes, into our engineering consultant account for the town of Raynham. Motion made. Second for discussion. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Unanimous with the three of us, because Burke and Chris are no longer on. So, bills and invoice. Minutes. I'm going to table the minutes until the following meeting. I wasn't here, and I wasn't here at the last meeting, so I'm not comfortable. Burke's not here, so we'll table those until. Is that all right if we table them? There's not.
It's fine.
Nothing's pending.
Brooke did see them, but it's fine to table them too.
We only have two that would be able to vote on it.
Okay.
Planning board coordinator update. Bob?
We do need to schedule a couple more meetings to finalize the rules and regs. Whatever your pleasure is, I'll try to coordinate it with Steve Ventresca. You want to do Tuesday, Wednesday afternoons like we have been, or do you want something else?
Yeah, I think, does that work for everybody? Just not
Okay.
next week. I spent a lot of time this past week, and I still have a lot of stuff to spend for the committee this coming week, so.
You want to wait till the end of the month?
Could we? And then we get back on it, we'll stay on it.
All right, I'll send out emails after I talk to Steve on the beginning of the week.
Okay.
That's pretty much all I had. I've had a couple of meetings with Silco Honda to get them prepped for their public hearing meeting on March 18th, but that's all I have for you right now.
All right, coming up on March 18th is a public hearing for Silco Honda. Silco Honda site plan for a property that they are purchasing on Route 44. And a public hearing for special permit for an estate lot on Robinson Street / Wilbur Street. And a public hearing for Carlton North Subdivision. Carlton North Subdivision.
They're calling it Carlton North. It's off Carlton Road.
Oh.
He purchased the property at the end of the road where it takes a hard
yeah.
left, and he's proposing 3 lots. Special permit for Robinson Street is actually 2 estate lots. So there's 2 estate lots being proposed on March 18th.
Okay. And we're already filling up for April 1st, so. Anything else, Maureen? Do you have anything for us?
I do not.
Russ, that plan over there signed, the Form A plan is signed for Common Estates, so you may come in and pick that up and get that recorded. Matthew, anything, Serpent, anything?
We had a community meeting and they spoke about, they were speaking more about COVID and how it's affecting communities and all that type of different community stuff that's going on in everyone's towns all along the south.
Okay.
We did have a master plan committee meeting, Zoom meeting on the 3rd. We'll have another one next week. This past Zoom meeting, they talked, there's 20 participants, which is the highest we've had so far. The topic of discussion was recreational areas where we can improve the town, having walking trails, bicycle trails. Supposedly, we're going to get things wrapped up where they're going to put some language together and talk about some possibilities on what we can plan to see in their study for a master plan. I'm anxious to see that myself. As soon as we get something, I'll let you know.
Now, just something, I was going to attend that meeting, and I had quite a busy week. So, one thing I would like to mention, and I was going to mention, because I know you had mentioned it last time, these walking trails and bike paths and everything. This was in our 2000 master plan, and it was one of our priorities to do that. Problem is there's nothing. Making these recommendations is one thing, but maybe they can direct us and steer us to grant money, and how we can make these things happen. Because here it is, 21 years later, and we still don't have what we say, people have been looking for, and I'm sure a lot of people then are different now on the, zooming in. It would be an awesome.
Someone needs money to maintain them too, so unless you have funding to maintain them, it's a great idea, but it's not realistic.
I was in down in Mattapoisett for years. And it was beautiful from Mattapoisett to Fairhaven, all the way down to New Bedford. Marion, there was bike paths, and they just kept going. They were paved. I mean, what an awesome! These guys were little, and my kids were little, and we used to ride our bikes all the way down, all the way to New Bedford, get an ice cream, and ride all the way back to Mattapoisett. What a beautiful! I mean, it's just very nice, and it was. It still is nice. People use them all the time. It's nice when you have abutting towns to be able to do that. We do have a large amount of property at Borden Colony that would be, I would think, if anybody in the town of Raynham just looks out back there, there's a beautiful piece of property up on the hill. We do have a lot of area that the town currently owns that it's a perfect spot for a walking, doing something walking. But then you're going to have to get Park and Rec involved, and they're going to maintain it. And like you said, there's a lot that goes with it.
You have Camp Titicut, which is on the Raynham-Bridgewater line, which you've created parking spots
Exactly.
for that no one uses.
Yeah. All right, so with that said, nothing else? Then I make a motion, we adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.